Very exciting to be here. Thank you so much for coming and joining us. We have a physical day today, and then tomorrow we have quite a few virtual sessions, so quite a lot of people will be joining virtually.
What businesses are looking for are two things. Either they reduce their costs, something that will help them reduce their cost, or increase their profit.
We cannot talk about digital trade and digital transformation without really dealing with some of the fundamental skills that are required.
It's all about focusing on what's available there, what kind of land is there, how to prevent drought, and how to create a more sustainable way to collect that water, to hold it.
Coming to Kenya, for example, we have a program with KCB and MasterCard where we offer around 15,000 SMEs retail credit, which means they can buy goods without paying for them for 13 days.
When it comes to blockchain as a technology, there's always been that whole issue of emissions and what exactly we can be able to do with it.
What we're seeing in the middle is the growth of kind of the best of the blockchain world combined with the best of the regulated world, where people are saying, if we could build a new regulated financial market infrastructure from scratch, what would it look like?
I mean, if you look at what's going on in Africa and globally, with what is happening with more and more disclosing, is that we now have 80% of the global economy which has a net zero target, right? And of course, they're never going to deliver 80% of the economy. That's crazy, right?
Much of what I've heard today and what you've been discussing here is about making these payments cross-borders. And the problems that we have with cross-border payments ultimately make it slow, make it expensive, not transparent. And I think if we want to achieve those objectives for the African continent that we've mentioned here, those objectives need to be assisted by an ability to make these cross-border payments work better.
The African Women in Europe, Women in Trade was formed from the African Women in Europe. So much of our skills are being translated, moved to the African Women in Trade. Right now, we're building the African Women in Trade platform to make it very strong, to be able to know what are the products. That's why we're going on the ground in Cape Town, and we're bringing also quite a lot of people from the Europe.
So one of the things everyone's been talking about, and I think this is something actually Isis and I have been discussing around access to capital, one of it is, it's actually, we talk about cultural issues from the women's side, but actually the biggest cultural issue that I see is from the bank.
We need to see that what's happening, this is an ecosystem that is emerging. And we don't really have all the answers at the moment. We don't have all the facts on the table. So we must be open to understand that there is no silver bullet. So CBDC won't solve everything.
Internet is the river that will feed the businesses. It's the flow, because without the internet, then there's a challenge. So that's your starting point. Give access to let people have an online, a presence that then they will figure out what to do with it.
Most women-led businesses are self-funded. I mean, in our network, it's like upward of 70% have self-funded, never look for external capital, have more interest in trying to understand it, but that shows you that you're going to be limited in size by the funds that you have, right? And so so it's hard. You have to kind of get out of that cycle by actually getting access to capital that's appropriate for the type of business that you have. Yeah.
A very exciting development that I have been informed of is the imminent launch of the groundbreaking Women in Trade, in Digital Trade initiative, to be launched by the Global Policy House during this summit. It is a commendable and much needed initiative to mainstream women in critical sectors of the economy.
Then I'm going to give you an assignment. Massage them properly. Just give them a nice massage.
I had a lovely message before I arrived in Kenya from actually your central bank governor, who messaged me and said, thank you very much for looking at this area because it is very important.
Join Her Excellency Dr. Monique Nsanzabaganwa, the AUC Deputy Chairperson, and the entire African Union team to implement Wi-Fi 2030, building on the African Women's Decade and Aspiration 6 of Agenda 2063. An Africa whose development is people-driven, relying on the potential of its citizens, especially women and youth, and caring for children. When we climb together, we win together.